Welcome to today's installment of the Daily Shift. I am your guide and your host, Raquel, your GPS for success. And this week we are looking at really um, releasing some wounds that might be stopping certain areas of our lives. If you haven't seen Mondays, then I really suggest for you to check out Mondays. I'll put the link below because I give you the four pillars of manifestation and how those things are in interplay in order for you to have what you want. Yesterday we talked about love, and so we're going to use the same areas of woundedness to release money and clients specifically into your life, because sometimes, and a lot of times, it's the inside out work. You can have all the right strategies that you want, but you only want to go as far as you see yourself, your sense of self, the way you see yourself. And sometimes those wounds that happen when we're children or young adults, or some of the things that were happening, they show up. They may not show up in your current relationship, but they might be showing up in your sales. There might be some wounding there that is hindering it. So you can hustle and maybe have an amazing breakthrough. And I know coaches, and they'll tell me in secret, like, oh, I had a really great month, but I can't seem to keep it. And that's some of that I went over on Monday. I don't want to rehash it here, but also on Mondays, I give you another link where you can get my notes and you can get some journaling prompts with it, because I'm famous for my notes, to help you to embody it. So today we're going to release any kind of woundedness that might be stopping your sales. And if you want more of this, then I invite you to join us on Friday. We're going to be meeting again for the Society of Sacred Alchemists, where we transform what is to what we want it to be. So why don't we get started? We're going to do this through the method called EFT, which is Emotional Freedom Technique. You might know it as tapping. And we're going to, for those of you who are new to it, think of it like acupuncture without the needles. And so what is said about EFT, and you can look it up yourself as well, is that it helps to activate your parasympathetic system, which is in charge of our bodies. They're amazing, aren't they? Yes. To activate healing for your body, for your emotions. And physically as well. But what's so great about the emotional part is that, when you are in emotional chaos, you may not even recognize it. And then, you're making these decisions that are not in your best interest. And you can go and see Mondays, which again is a link down below to make it easier for you. That's going to cause some self-sabotaging. So we're going to release some of these things, allow the awareness to come up, so that way we can forgive it and release it and take it out of our bodies. We need to get it out of our system so we can get it out of our way. All right. My eye is like acting weird today. It looks weird on camera, but I'll try not to be like, oh, squirrel. All right. We're going to just tap kind of like in the middle of your head. Right. Tap there. And then the sides of your eyebrows. And then the beginning of your eyebrows underneath. And then like this middle part right here. And the chin is like this crevice, the collarbone, the thymus area, which is like right where your neck is, a couple inches down, and our wrist. And then we're going to start all over. Don't worry, you can change the words if you want. You can, if you're not going to blow up, you can't do this wrong. We're going to add our agreements together. And we know we are so grateful for grace, because grace will take us in places that, we might be struggling with internally, but grace will still bring us into those rooms. And so we want to be able to take advantage of every opportunity that is placed before us, so that way we can serve people well, right? So we can serve them fully and in love and in compassion and with all the juiciness of who we are, and whatever it is that we're called to do. So let's get started. We'll do the setup phrase. It's called the karate chop. Just repeat after me. Today I take responsibility for my life, which just means I have the ability to respond. And I'm not sure why my sales are stuck, why they come and go, why I have a good month, and then it's like, wah, wah. Why it's not consistent, why it feels like it hasn't been coming in. But I'm taking my power back today, and I'm going to change that. And I choose to change that right now. And so it is. Take a breath. And tap the head. I'm not sure why my sales are stuck or why my soulmate clients are few and far between. Maybe I have some abandonment issues that I may be aware of or may not be aware of. The times when I felt left out, when I've hated being alone, so I ended up being around people who temporarily made me feel good, but as soon as I wasn't in their presence, it just felt like a void. So this caused codependency, interdependence. That's the healthy version of codependency. But if I feel abandoned, then I end up being magnetized to emotionally unavailable people. They're emotionally unavailable as clients. And so they might be excited for one moment, and then the next, I get ghosted because they weren't emotionally available. And so I'm doing all these strategies. I'm doing the best that I can. And yet, up to this point, that has been my experience. But I'm shifting that right now. Maybe I have some guilt wounds that I may or may not be aware of. And then I end up feeling sorry for myself or having negative scripts that I'm saying to myself. And then I don't like to ask for things because when I ask, people say they're going to do it and then they don't. People say they're going to book and then they don't. People say they're going to do this or that and then they don't. Or I ask for help and I'm told the person's going to help me and I don't receive help. Or I ask for help and I don't receive any feedback. Perhaps guilt has been used to manipulate me in the past, and that has wounded me. So that makes me afraid to set healthy boundaries. And then I end up being magnetized to people who make me feel guilty. So if I felt abandoned, my brain is my helper and is pulling me toward people that will make me right. If I feel guilty, if I allow these guilt wounds to still be around, to still work in my life, then I will allow people who will make me feel guilty to come into my experience. Now, people who might make me feel this way might get still pulled into my experience. But if I choose right now to release these wounds, to release this hurt, to release the past from this, then even if they come, I'll be able to recognize it. And my field becomes like a force field, like Teflon. They'll just bounce right off and it doesn't even impact my self-esteem. Maybe there are some trust wounds I have. Afraid of being hurt again, afraid of trying again, because I have been trying. There's a saying from Yoda, do or do not, there is no try. But I've been doing a lot of things because I believe in what I'm doing. I know that what I do will help people. I have evidence of it. But I've been hurt. I've been hurt by past people, clients, bosses, people I network with, people in the same groups. And so it made me maybe not trust myself, trust my intuition, because I've been doing things in accordance to what I think my intuition is, and it hasn't panned out up to this point. And then maybe I'm finding ways not to trust people. It makes me feel insecure. It activates imposter syndrome. And then it makes me codependent, where I need a lot of external validation because I'm confused, because I don't know, because I feel like an imposter, even though I know that what I do works. I don't feel safe sometimes. So then I end up magnetizing myself to people that make me right. So it's like a vicious circle. It's a vicious cycle where I connect with people who make me right, make me feel unsafe, and it starts all over again. I choose to change that right now. Maybe it's happening because in some ways I felt neglected. I've struggled to let some things go. There's safety in what I know, even if what I know is not really working. At least I know what to expect. At least I'm part of a group. At least I'm part of something. And it's scary to walk away. It's scary to change things. It's scary to be vulnerable. And that impacts my self-esteem. And that helps me to struggle to say no, to charge my value, to charge what I know I need to be charging in this moment, in spite of what anybody else says. I know what it is. And then I end up repressing my emotions. And that activates soul sickness. And I get irritable and all kinds of other stuff happens. I end up attracting people who don't appreciate me. I actually magnetize myself right to them. They don't appreciate me, and I don't feel seen by them. And then I'm like, see, I was right. And maybe I've been calling my wounds discernment. Maybe I've been calling my wounds psychic ability. Maybe I've been calling my wounds something it wasn't. It was my wounds leading me to the wrong people over and over again to make me right. It's been a self-fulfilling prophecy that I have not recognized until now. And so right now, I choose to break all that right off me by choosing to love, accept, and forgive myself. I forgive myself because I've been doing the best that I knew how to do every single day. I forgive others who've played their part because in some way I allowed it by expecting it of them. And so in some ways, I magnetize myself to make me right. But I take my power back and I choose to now magnetize myself to people who are emotionally available, because I say right now that I am emotionally available and I am emotionally healthy. I'm okay with being alone. It's good to be with people. We need people, but I'm also okay having the balance of being alone. I no longer am attracted to people who make me feel guilty. It's like, ooh, I don't like that. I can feel it. I can feel the vibe, and I won't make anybody feel guilty. They can purchase from me if they want to. That's up to them. I don't have to manipulate anybody to get any sales. I don't have to emotionally blackmail them. I don't have to emotionally trigger them. I don't have to push them into their pain points in order for them to work with me. I am magnetizing myself to my soulmate clients who see me, who value me, who I make them feel safe so they can be vulnerable, so they can be themselves, so they can be secure, so they can get what they need. I am trustworthy. And my soulmate clients, they see that, they feel that, and they trust me because they sense it immediately. I no longer struggle to be vulnerable. 80-20 rule, most of the time. Everybody struggles with vulnerability. And I will use wisdom on when and how to be vulnerable. I choose to now be magnetized to people who appreciate me and who see me. They are my soulmate clients. I call them in. I call them in from the north, south, east, and west. You know my face. You know my voice. You sense me even now. I have the answers that you seek. I love you, and I've been waiting for you. Forgive me for standing in our way of working together. I now release the call for a crop failure to everything that has been standing in the way between me and my soulmate clients. Under grace and perfect ways, this is done with harm to none. I am theirs and they are mine. And so it is. All right, my loves. Until tomorrow, which will be at the same time, 12:15-ish p.m. CST for the next daily shift. Don't forget to check out the goodies that are below. And if you want more of this, if you want to supercharge what you're doing, then I invite you to be part of the Society of Sacred Alchemists. You can check us out. We're having the next meeting on Friday. And even if you can't make it, you might want to grab your spot so that way I can include the things that are in your heart. Because just like a personal trainer, right? You are going to do better and faster when you have somebody to guide you into the things and into the things that you want to manifest for yourself. And there's something beautiful that happens when people come into agreement, because it's an amazing group of women who are just like you, who want it all without hustle and also without compromise. So if that speaks to you, then I invite you. Join us. And until next time, which will be tomorrow, I will,